Hello, my friend. Welcome to our channel, Healing Sleep Stories. My name is Mushroom. I am a storyteller, and it is an honor to be the voice you listen to as you go to sleep tonight. Okay, let's start the relaxation part. It will take a few minutes before we start tonight's sleep story. This is your space to let go, to rest. So, take a slow breath and exhale gently. Feel your shoulders sink just a little lower. Notice how your jaw unclenches as if it just realized it was working overtime for no reason. Now, imagine a doorway right in front of you, a simple door, not too fancy. Maybe it even creaks a little, like a door from an old summer cabin. And you and I will walk through it together. On the other side, there is a story that will soothe your soul. Release the heaviness you've been carrying and gently lull you to sleep. Sleep. Let's begin. You take that first step through the doorway, the one we talked about just a moment ago. At first, the light on the other side is soft, like early morning mist settling over a quiet meadow. It's not blinding, not overwhelming, just enough to let you see where you are going without needing to squint or stumble. And standing there, waiting, is your guardian. Now, don't worry if you don't quite know who or what your guardian looks like yet. For some people, it's a person. An old friend, a grandmother, or even a stranger who feels oddly familiar. For others, it's an animal, maybe a loyal dog, a wise owl, or something more fantastical, like a giant, glowing fox. For you, it might be something abstract, just a warm presence, a hum in the air, a little like the bass line in a lo-fi track that holds everything together. Whatever shape your guardian takes, you can feel that sense of safety ripple through you the moment they arrive. They don't need to say. Guardians don't always talk. Sometimes they just stand close enough that you know nothing bad can sneak in. Think of it like walking into a theme park as a kid. Sure, the rides might look a little intimidating, but when your older cousin is holding your hand, you somehow know it's all going to be okay. Your guardian gestures for you to follow, and together you begin this journey inward, not just inward through the meadow, but inward into yourself, into the body, into all the places where emotions have been quietly stashed away for years. Because, let's be real, humans are professional emotion hoarders. We don't throw feelings away like we should. Instead, we tuck them into corners, stack them on invisible shelves, and hope that someday they'll magically recycle themselves. Spoiler alert, they don't. That's why you're here. That's why your guardian is here. As you walk, you notice how your surroundings shift. The meadow folds into a corridor of light, and that corridor is lined with doors. Each door leads to a different part of your body, and behind each one is a story you don't have to relive, but you do get to release. Tonight isn't about replaying old trauma like a bad Netflix rerun. It's about quietly taking out the trash, except in this case, the trash is invisible tension, heavy grief, and old anger. Your guardian pauses, making sure you're ready. And you are, because tonight you don't have to do this alone. As you breathe in, you can almost feel your ribs expanding with the weight of centuries of human history. After all, you're not the first person to carry pain in your body. Throughout history, people have known, on some instinctual level, that the body remembers. Ancient healers believed that sorrow made the lungs heavy, and Chinese medicine mapped anger to the liver long before modern psychology started catching up. Funny, isn't it? Historians still debate whether these old traditions were symbolic metaphors or practical medical truths. But here you are at firsthand that the body really is like a library, storing every story you've never finished. And speaking of history, here's a thought. Did you know that in 17th century Europe, people used to believe melancholy was caused by an excess of black bile sloshing around inside? Sounds ridiculous now, but if you think about it, it's just another way of saying emotions and the body are linked. Fast forward to now, and scientists talk about cortisol, adrenaline, and nervous system dysregulation, but really, it's the same song with different instruments. You feel your guardian chuckle softly beside you, almost as if they, too, are amused at how humans have always tried to make sense of what the body holds. And that's the thing. You don't need to figure it all out tonight. You just need to let it go. You breathe again, deeper this time, and something shifts. The corridor around you glows a little brighter, like fairy lights strung across a dark porch. One of the doors ahead of you, too, trembles, like it's eager to be opened. Not in a creepy horror movie way, but more like a puppy pawing at the door, excited to get outside. Your guardian places a hand, warm, steady, on your shoulder. You realize they're not here to push you, just to remind you that you have permission. Permissions to open these doors, to let the body sigh with relief. Permission to finally be done with carrying things you didn't even know you were carrying. And in this moment, you feel something subtle but powerful. Trust. Not just in your guardian, but in yourself. Trust that your body knows how to let go, even if your mind has been holding on out of habit. It's like finally uninstalling an app you downloaded years ago but never used, the one that's been eating up memory space for no reason. Yeah, trauma's like that, just a giant useless app hogging your bandwidth. Tonight, we uninstall. As you move forward, the air shifts again. You hear a soft rhythm, like drums echoing from far away. It reminds you of Anchi, of how people used sound and rhythm to release energy long before modern hypnotherapy. Fun fact, the Romans used to beat drums and clash cymbals during battle, not just to scare enemies, but to shake their own bodies into courage. Imagine that, shaking fear out with sheer volume. Historians still debate whether it worked physiologically or just psychologically, but either way, it's proof that sound, the body, and emotion have always been tangled together. You and your guardian pause for a moment, listening to that drum beat in the distance. It's calming, steady, like your own heartbeat syncing to something bigger. And then, your guardian tilts their head toward the first door, the one that waits patiently, glowing faintly. Before you step through, you notice your own reflection in the polished surface of the door. For a moment, you see not just yourself, but all the versions of you. Child you, teenage you, tired adult you. The you that tried to be strong even when you didn't have to be. They all look back at you, nodding, almost as if they're saying, "It's time." Your guardian squeezes your hand, grounding you. The weight of their presence is solid, like leaning against a tree trunk that's been rooted for centuries. You're safe. So you reach out, place your hand on the doorknob, and breathe in. With the exhale, the door swings open, not dramatically, not with fanfare, but quietly, smoothly, like it had been waiting all along. And together, you step inside, ready to begin the release. Inside, the air is warmer, tinged with something sweet, like chamomile tea steaming in the corner. You realize that this room isn't scary at all. It's simply a space where you can rest while your body does the work. Your guardian walks beside you, their eyes shining with a kind of knowing kindness. You don't even need words anymore. The safety is enough. And so you settle in, feeling your body respond as if it knows this is the moment it's been waiting for. The journey into release has truly begun. Turns out, your belly isn't just a place for snacks and bad takeout decisions. It's also a storage locker for anxiety. Every little moment of worry, every time you clenched your jaw and told yourself, "I'll deal with it later," your stomach quietly said, "Sure, I'll just hold on to this for you." Imagine your digestive system as that overworked friend who never says no and then secretly panics when their calendar is full. As you breathe now, you notice it, the subtle tightness in your middle, that almost forgotten tension that's been with you longer than you realized. You might not even call it anxiety at first. It's just the way things are. But your guardian knows better. They gesture toward your stomach as if inviting you to acknowledge it, not to poke it, not to pry it open, just to notice. And here's the thing about noticing. The body responds to awareness, like how plants lean toward sunlight the moment they feel warmth. Your belly, when you shine a little attention its way. Already, you can feel something start to soften. The room around you changes. What was once glowing mist now looks like rolling fields of wheat, golden, endless, swaying with the breeze. Each stalk bends and straightens like the rhythm of breath. The wheat isn't random. It represents nourishment, digestion, the act of receiving and transforming. Your belly, after all, is both kitchen and furnace, turning life into energy. But when it's crowded with anxiety, the whole system clogs up. Your guardian kneels, running a hand over the stalks of wheat, and suddenly the field shimmers. The stalks turn translucent, and you see tiny sparks of light, little knots of energy, tangled and restless, like static electricity waiting to discharge. These sparks are your worries, old ones, new ones, even those half-baked thoughts that popped into your head at 3 a.m. when you were just trying to sleep. You don't need to remember what each spark is about. Your subconscious knows, your body knows, and that's enough. You sit with the field for a moment, breathing into your stomach, letting it expand and deflate like a balloon. Every inhale feeds the wheat golden light. Every exhale shakes loose a spark, releasing it into the breeze. Slowly, the field calms, no longer jittering with static. It reminds you of something, the way ancient Egyptians used to believe that the stomach was directly tied to the soul. In fact, when they mummified bodies, they carefully preserved the stomach in its own canopic jar, guarded by the jackal-headed god, Duamutef. Historians still debate whether this was purely spiritual symbolism or a recognition of how vital digestion was to human emotion. Either way, it's comforting to know that thousands of years ago, people already understood that the gut was more than just plumbing. And speaking of digestion, did you know that Winston Churchill once famously said he got some of his best ideas not on horseback, but on the toile? True story. Turns out even world leaders had to admit that the stomach and brain were deeply connected. Maybe he didn't call it the gut-brain axis, but hey, same thing. Your guardian chuckles softly at the thought, reminding you not to take this too seriously. Anxiety is heavy, sure, but that doesn't mean you can't laugh a little while letting it go. Humor has a way of melting tension, like adding a splash of lemon to hot tea. As you continue to breathe, you notice your body shifting. The tightness in your belly loosens, like the untying of an invisible knot. You didn't even realize how much energy it took to hold that knot all the time. It's like when you've been clenching your fist for so long that you forget it's clenched, and then suddenly you open it and think, wow, my hand can do that. The field of wheat around you sways gently, calmer now. The sparks are fewer, drifting upward into the sky like fireflies, and in their place something new grows. Peace, not flashy, not dramatic, just a steady, quiet peace, the kind that makes you sigh without realizing it, shoulders dropping another inch. Your guardian steps closer, placing their palm gently over your stomach. You feel warmth spreading, a heat that is not burning but soothing, like a hot water bottle on a cold night. That warmth seeps deeper down into your intestines, your core, your very center. It's like your belly has been waiting for this hug all along. And with that warmth, you realize something profound. Your body has always been on your side. Even when it stored your worries, it wasn't betraying you. It was protecting you, keeping those worries safe until you had the strength to face them. Tonight, with your guardian beside you, you finally have that strength. Another breath, another spark released, another layer of tension gone. The air around you grows lighter, as if the field itself is exhaling. The wheat shines brighter, no longer burdened by static. It looks almost like liquid gold now, flowing and reflecting the inner ease that's settling in. And you feel softer. Your belly, your breath, your whole center feels like it's been unclenched, freed. Your guardian looks at you with quiet pride, like a coach watching their player finally master the move they've been practicing for years. They don't say "good job" aloud, but you feel it anyway, and you smile, because for the first time in a long time, your belly doesn't feel like a battlefield. It feels like home. The golden fields of wheat fade slowly into darkness, but not an empty kind of darkness. This one has weight, like the deep shadows of a forest at night where the air is thick and alive. You walk beside your guardian, their steady presence grounding you as the scenery shifts again. Ahead, a faint glow flickers, red, pulsing like embers in a fire. You know instinctively what this place is, the seat of anger, frustration, and rage, the liver, the furnace of fire inside you. Funny thing about anger, it's often the most misunderstood of emotions. People are taught to fear it, to shove it down, to smile politely, when what they really want to do is scream into a pillow or flip a table in IKEA. But your liver doesn't care about politeness. It holds every single flare of rage, every insult you swallowed, every injustice you felt but couldn't express. And unlike a computer hard drive, it doesn't run out of space. It just keeps storing, until, of course, you come here, with your guardian at your side to finally let it out. The path beneath you begins to glow with red cracks, like lava veins beneath the earth. You feel heat rising through your soles, warm but not burning, just enough to remind you of the energy stored here. Your guardian gestures toward the glow ahead, and the two of you step into an open cavern. The walls shimmer as though made of molten stone. In the center sits a great fire pit, coals glowing bright orange and deep crimson. Around the pit hover shapes, smoky, restless, like shadows caught in a whirlwind. These are your angers. Some are small, just flickers. Others loom larger, thicker, heavy with years of silence. You don't need to name them. You don't need to remember the details of who said what, or when life seemed unfair. The body remembers, but the mind doesn't need to dig tonight. That's the mercy of this place. Release without reliving. Your guardian steps forward, raising a hand toward thee. Fire. The flames shift, softening from wild crackles to a gentle, contained burn. It's safe now. safe to let the shadows drift from your liver into the flames. You inhale, feeling the heat expand inside your chest, then down into your belly, then settling in the right side of your body where the liver rests. You hadn't realized how tense that spot felt until now, how it almost buzzed with old anger. As you exhale, something happens. A wisp of shadow lifts from your side and drifts into the fire. The flame swallows it whole, then burns brighter. Not violently, but like a lantern glowing more steadily in the night. It feels lighter. You repeat this with every breath. Inhale, soften. Exhale, release. Shadow after shadow drifts from your liver, crossing the short space between your body and the fire. Some are quick and small, others heavy and reluctant. But your guardian stands tall beside you, watching, making sure every single one is received. It reminds you of ancient rituals, how people on Tse used fire for purification. Did you know that in some cultures, anger was literally burned away by writing grievances on wood or parchment and casting them into a flame? Historians still debate whether this was symbolic or truly believed to heal the body. But either way, the symbolism is clear. Fire transforms. Here's another odd little fact. During the Middle Ages, doctors believed the liver was the seat of courage. Knights were said to have strong livers if they were brave. Imagine that, courage and anger stored in the same organ. Maybe they weren't entirely wrong. After all, anger and courage are cousins. One pushes you to fight, the other pushes you to stand. Your guardian smiles knowingly, as if they too understand this connection. They gesture toward the fire, encouraging you to release not only rage, but also the fear of your own power. Because anger isn't always a villain. Sometimes it's just a messenger, one that's been ignored for too long. You laugh a little to yourself, suddenly remembering how, in 1908, Theodore Roosevelt was once punched square in the chest during a speech. Shot actually, not punched. A real bullet. And what did he do? He kept speaking for another 90 minutes. 90. Historians still debate whether that was raw courage or pure stubborn anger fueling him. But either way, the liver must have been doing overtime that day. As you breathe, more shadows lift. They twist and curl, dissolving in the flame until the fire glows steady and golden, less chaotic than before. The cavern doesn't feel oppressive anymore. The heat feels like warmth, like the comfort of a campfire, rather than the fury of an inferno. You place your hand gently over your right side, and for the first time in years, it feels calm there. No tightness, no buzzing, no sharp pangs of held rage, just ease. Your guardian places their hand over yours, doubling the warmth. You look at the fire pit again, now calm, flickering like a hearth, It's not gone. It never should be. Anger has its place, but tonight it's been honored, acknowledged, and allowed to breathe. The shadows that once haunted the room are gone. In their place is silence, not the empty kind, but the peaceful kind. The silence of a forest after rain, when the earth is steaming softly and everything is alive. You take one last deep breath. The cavern exhales with you. The fire dims, shifting from bright flames to glowing coals, ready to rest until needed again. Your guardian nods, satisfied. You've done it. You've let the fire flow instead of holding it inside. And now, with your liver lighter, you step back from the pit. The cavern walls shimmer, their molten glow cooling into warm stone. The heat fades to comfort, and the path ahead brightens once more. You and your guardian walk onward, leaving the cavern behind, carrying with you not rage but renewed space. Space for calm, space for peace. The cavern's glow dims behind you, replaced by a gentler light. The air shifts again, cooler now, softer, carrying the faintest trace of dew. As you walk with your guardian, the path opens into a vast chamber that feels different from the others. It's wide, expansive, like the inside of a cathedral carved from pure air. Your chest instinctively expands, as if the very space is asking you to breathe deeper. This is the place of the heart and lungs, the chamber of grief, sorrow, and loss. You feel it even before your guardian gestures, that heaviness in the chest you've carried for years, the weight of unshed tears, the ache of words you never said. Here all of it resides, layer upon layer of grief, stored like dust on forgotten shelves. You don't need to remember every story behind it. The body does that work for you. Your only task tonight is to let it go. Above you, the ceiling shimmers like a night sky, 1,000 tiny stars flickering in stars. Islands. The air smells faintly of rain, fresh, cleansing, like a storm that's just passed. And beneath your feet, a shallow pool of water stretches out, reflecting the starry sky so perfectly, it feels like you're walking on the night itself. Your guardian steps with you onto the mirrored surface. Not a ripple, not a sound, just the quiet echo of breath. The stillness is almost too much, like standing in a moment where time refuses to move forward. This too is grief. The way it freezes you, suspends you, makes you forget the flow of life. As you breathe in, you feel your chest tighten, slightly at first, then heavier, like an invisible weight pressing down. Your guardian places a hand near your heart, not touching yet, just hovering, reminding you that you're not alone in this. The pressure eases, not gone, but acknowledged. Sometimes that's all grief needs. The stars above flicker brighter, and suddenly a breeze sweeps through the chamber. It stirs the water, rippling the reflections. With each ripple, memories rise, not sharp, not overwhelming, just impressions. The sense of someone you once missed, the echo of a goodbye, the shadow of a loss too heavy to name. But here's the thing, you don't have to relive any of it. That's not the point. The water catches those echoes, holds them gently, and then lets them dissolve like mist. Your guardian leans close, whispering without words, "It's safe to let go now." And so you exhale, slowly, deeply from the chest, as if sighing for the first time in years. With that breath, something shifts. A gray wisp rises from your chest, drifts across the water, and dissipates into the starlight. You realize grief is not just about sadness. It's also about love. The love you had, the love that lingered, the love that left an imprint. And releasing grief doesn't erase that love. It just frees the ache that clung to it. It makes you think about history, how grief has always shaped the human story. Take the ancient Greeks, for instance. They held elaborate mourning rituals, sometimes hiring professional mourners who wailed loudly in public. Historians still debate whether this was to honor the dead or simply to help the living release their sorrow. Either way, they understood something we often forget. Grief needs expression. And then there's a stranger fact. Did you know that Queen Victoria of England wore black mourning clothes for 40 years after Prince Albert died? Talk about commitment. Imagine trying to keep your wardrobe that consistent. But perhaps it wasn't just fashion. Maybe it was her way of carrying grief in the only way she knew how. Your guardian smiles faintly, as if amused by the extremes humans go to in order to hold on to sorrow. But then they place their hand directly over your heart, warm and steady. And for the first time, you let your chest expand fully, ribs stretching wide. The air fills you, pressing into places you didn't realize were tight. Then you let it go. And with that release comes something, and you laugh. Just a small chuckle, surprising even to you. Because sometimes grief hides humor too. Like remembering a lost loved one who once tripped over their own shoelaces or sang terribly off-key but with total passion. That laughter is part of release too. The stars above twinkle brighter, reflecting joy as well as sorrow. You realize both can live in the same chest, side by side. Your guardian steps onto the water with you, and suddenly the pool ripples wider. Instead of sorrow rising, light rises this time. Golden streams of warmth flow from the water into your lungs, into your heart. The heaviness lifts, not all at once, but enough that you feel space again. Room to breathe, room to carry love without the weight of pain. You think of another moment in history when Abraham Lincoln, after the death of his young son Willie was said to walk the White House halls at night, speaking softly to the boy as if he were still there. Historians still debate whether this was grief consuming him or a kind of spiritual connection, maybe both. And in some way, it comforts you knowing even leaders carried that same weight in their chests, searching for ways to breathe through it. As the water settles once more, the stars reflect clearly again. Your chest feels lighter, your breath easier. The pool has done its work, absorbed your grief, honored it, and given it back as calm. Your guardian finally lifts their hand, but the warmth remains in your heart and lungs. It radiates outward, not just inside your body, but around you, like an aura that others could feel if they were near. Peace, love, and the quiet strength that comes after release. And you smile, not because everything is perfect now, but because you can breathe again. The chamber begins to fade, the stars dimming, the pool dissolving beneath your feet. You and your guardian walk forward together once more, ready for the next place. But this time, your chest feels open, your breath steady, your heart a little freer than it was before. As you and your guardian continue forward, the space around you begins to shift once again. What unfolds now is not one single room, not a cavern or a field, but an entire horizon. A vast open plain that stretches in every direction. The air is clear, the sky a deep indigo just before dawn, and you can sense that this is the place where everything comes together, the final destination of your journey. This is where full body renewal happens. You take a deep breath, and this time it feels different from the others. Instead of breathing only into your stomach, your liver, or your chest, you feel the air travel everywhere. Your toes, your fingertips, your scalp. It's as if each cell perks up at the same time, stretching, yawning, saying, "Oh, we're included in this too?" Your guardian walks beside you across the plain. The ground here glows faintly under your feet, as though every step releases a soft light. And you, man, not heavy anymore. No sparks of anxiety, no shadows of anger, no gray wisps of grief. Just light, flowing outward with every movement. As you look around, you notice something beautiful. The horizon shimmers with streams of color, like northern lights stretched across the ground itself. Each ribbon of light connects to a part of your body. A line of green toward your belly, red toward your liver, silver toward your lungs, golden toward your heart. But there are also thousands more, tiny threads weaving into your legs, your arms, your skin, your mind. Every single part of you is glowing, linked together in one vast tapestry. Your guardian gestures for you to pause and simply feel it. And so you do. You stand still, breathing slowly, letting the sensation of wholeness wash over you. It's almost funny how you spent so long thinking of your body in parts. This ache in my shoulder, that knot in my stomach, this tightness in my chest. But tonight you feel it as one organism, one story, one you. It reminds you of something from history, the way the Stoic philosophers in ancient Rome believed the body and the soul were not separate at all, but threads of the same fabric. Marcus Aurelius once wrote in his Meditations that the soul and body share one breath, and to tend one is to tend the other. Historians still debate whether he meant this literally or metaphorically, but tonight, standing in this glowing plain, you can feel how true it is. You laugh quietly as you remember an odd fact. In the 19th century, some doctors actually prescribed full body shaking as a medical cure. They even built vibrating chairs and platforms, thinking it would reset the body. Imagine going to a doctor today and being told, "Yeah, you just need a good shake." But here, in this space, it sort of makes sense, because your whole body is humming, vibrating gently as the lights knit everything together. Your guardian chuckles softly at your thought, as if they heard it too. Their eyes are key, amused, but proud. They know you've reached a place most people never find, the moment of full body release. As the lights swirl around you, you begin to move with them, not dancing exactly, but swaying like a reed in the breeze. Each motion helps the energy flow. The release is no longer heavy, no longer work, it's simply happening. Like waves breaking on the shore, like leaves drifting from a tree. Effortless. You glance upward, and to your surprise, the sky itself begins to open. A faint blush of dawn paints the horizon. After all this darkness, all this journey inward, light returns, and with it, a feeling of renewal so deep it feels like you've been rebuilt from the inside out. You think of another historical moment, the end of World War II, when people filled the streets in celebration, strangers hugging, dancing, even climbing on lampposts just to shout with joy. Historians still debate whether that joy was pure relief or the start of something hopeful, but either way, it was a release. The collective body of millions, finally unclenching after years of tension. You feel that same collective sigh in your own body now, like your cells are celebrating an armistice. Your guardian steps closer, placing a hand gently on your back. You feel their warmth radiate through your entire spine, traveling outward in every direction. And then something extraordinary happens. For the first time tonight, you realize the guardian's light isn't separate from yours. The glow surrounding them blends with the glow surrounding you until there's no distinction at all. It dawns on you that maybe the guardian wasn't just beside you this whole time. Maybe they were within you too. A part of you you'd forgotten, now remembered. And that realization brings the deepest sense of peace yet, because it means you're never truly alone. You carry this presence, this guiding strength within your own body, always. You breathe again, long and slow, and the plane ripples with your exhale. The northern light ribbons dance higher, spreading until they weave into the dawn sky itself. Your body feels light now, not just free of burden, but filled with something new, renewal, clarity, ease. It's almost too much beauty to hold, and yet, somehow, your body can hold it all. Every cell, every organ, every breath says yes. Yes to letting go, yes to healing, yes to rest. Your guardian smiles one last time, and though they don't vanish, they seem less distinct, more blended with the light around you. They've done their job, and you, well, you've done yours too. The plane fades, the ribbons dissolve, the dawn grows softer, and you feel yourself sinking, slowly, gently, into the kind of rest that only comes after deep release. Your body is whole, your mind is quiet, your soul is at ease, and now you can finally rest. And now, my friend, the journey draws to a close. You've walked through the fields of worry, through the cavern of fire, across the pool of grief, and into the plain of renewal. You've released the burdens your body held for so long, not by reliving the pain, but by letting it flow out gently, piece by piece, breath by breath. There is no need to rush now, no need to hold on. Every part of you knows how to rest. Your stomach calm, your liver at ease, your heart and lungs open, your whole body glowing with a peace that feels timeless. The guardian who has walked beside you still lingers here, though you may not see them anymore. Their presence is woven into you now, as natural as your own heartbeat, as steady as the rhythm of your breath. You can call on them whenever you need, but even without calling, they are here, always. So let your breath slow, let your body sink deeper into the softness beneath you. Let your mind blur at the edges, like ink dissolving in water. Every exhale takes you further into calm, further into healing, further into sleep. The horizon fades into darkness, and the darkness into silence. And in that silence, you rest. You are safe. You are free. You are whole. So, good night, my friend. Sleep well, dream softly, and when you wake, may you carry this lightness with you into the day.